Good morning. It's the 27th of September, 2024. We're going to do the news today. Good morning to everybody on the replay crew, on the podcast platforms. This is our preamble before YouTube lets us go live. We're going to talk about this hurricane. We're going to talk about a sinking Chinese submarine. We're going to talk about the port strikes. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all them things. It says that we are live on YouTube now. Thank you, Sam Off-Grid 5x5. 27th of September, 2024. I am Bear from the internet. We're going to do your national news. National intel is sent into intel at bearindependent.com. We're going to talk about a sinking Chinese nuclear submarine. We're going to talk about Hurricane Helene. We're going to talk about port closures, shipping constraints, and all the news of the day that's even worth considering. Now, do yourself a favor. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, ring the little bell icon, comment, blah, blah, blah. Do all the YouTube things, please and thank you. That helps us greatly in our ongoing battle against the YouTube algorithmic robots and artificial intelligence. And of course, the show is brought to you by Yahweh, your Elohim, the Lord your God, the creator of the universe, whose name is upon my forehead currently. The fine people at Patreon, link is in the description, the economic engine of the Bear Nation, and of course, Refuge Medical, of whom I am the founder, CEO, and chief shilling officer. Now, before we get started, a very interesting piece of news. March 7th through 9th, 2025. March 7th through 9th, 2025. RefugeRuckus.com. This is our annual in-person fundraiser for Caleb House, which is our counter-trafficking ministry. I have a verbal on who our master of ceremonies is going to be for this event. That will be the cowboy comedian Chad Prather. I'm honored. I'm amazed at how the Father works. Early bird pricing on tickets and family tickets and couples packages and all that crap is at refugeruckus.com. And we need sponsors and vendors. So if you have a company, you want to sell stuff, or you want to sponsor the event, or whatever, refugeruckus.com. All the information is there. It is March 7th through 9th, 2025. And right now, with early bird pricing, tickets are 25% off. So go check it out, refugeruckus.com. Bear Independent Brief, 27 September 2024, as he sips his tea because he's losing his voice because he has sinusitis. As Hurricane Helene approached from the Gulf on Wednesday, thousands were forced to evacuate in Florida as the majority of the state was under alerts ranging from flooding risks, damaging winds, and a predicted life-threatening storm surge of up to 15 feet along some of the coast. This hurricane is one of the largest ones in this century in the Gulf, and it's expected to cut straight into the United States. The hurricane was predicted to hit Category 3 and maybe even Category 4 intensity of over 140 miles per hour before making landfall. I think currently it's at 140 miles an hour winds. Category 5 is the worst possible designation. Forecasters say that this Category 4 designation would mean it has the power to leave a trail of severe damage to buildings and catastrophic consequences as power outages will last weeks to possibly months. Most of the area will be uninhabitable for weeks or months, according to the National Hurricane Center. Now, I will tell you that Grindstone Ministries is on standby right now because this is what we do. And I've been telling you for weeks, it's storm season. If you want to deploy with Grindstone, you need to get on the email list. I'm going to tell you again. Good morning, Tommy. I just saw your text. There's 20-foot storm surge. That's amazing. It's intense. It's a big deal. 20-foot storm surge is intense. Gulfport, Mississippi, with Katrina, was hit with 12-foot storm surge, and it was destroyed. Okay. Grindstone has been on standby for weeks. We've been spooling up for weeks. It's storm season. Storm season's here. You want to deploy with Grindstone Ministries, you go to grindstoneministries.com. Link is in the description. Sign up for the email blast. We don't sell your email information. We don't market to you. We don't do any of that bullshit. We just use the email to be able to provide the op-ord to you so you know who, what, when, where, why, how, you know where to go, what to bring, how long you're going to be there, etc., etc. Okay? Okay, Bear. Awesome. Also, gentle question for my entire viewership of 206,000 plus people. Are you prepped? Are you adequately prepped for weeks or months without the electrical grid? Well, that could never happen. Well, a freaking storm's doing it. How much more a near peer or non state actor? A storm. Just a storm. Just a storm. It happens like, you know, all the time, regularly, once every few years at a minimum, weeks, if not months, without electricity, and all of the cascading failures that come from no electricity. No fuel, no logistics, no commo, no intel, no lighting, no med, no transportation, no water, no sewer, no grocery store, weeks and or months. Yep. Again, from the National Hurricane Center, Category 4 designation would mean it has the power to leave a trail of severe damage to buildings and catastrophic consequences as, quote, power outages will last weeks to possibly months. Most of the area will be uninhabitable for weeks or months, according to the National Hurricane Center. This is not just preparedness, is not just, lime green zombie hunter bullshit. It's physical insurance that you use to mitigate potential risk to your state of normalcy. That's what preparedness is. And there are far more likely threats than even as Russia considers changing its statutes around the use of nuclear arms. There are more pressing issues, one of which is a storm, the Earth. He says as he sips his tea. Good morning, Mark, and everybody else in the chat. Do-do-do-do, Now, here's another difference between hurricanes and tornadoes. Tornadoes are very localized devastation. Typically a mile to maybe a 5 mile wide area to a mile to a few miles long, unless we're talking Mayfield, Kentucky, where the storm was on the ground for 186 miles straight. Very rare that happens. Tornadoes are localized damage. Hurricanes are 80 to 100 miles wide swath of damage. And even if it's not destroying houses in an 80-mile wide swath, it is taking power infrastructure offline, knocking down trees that go into power lines, break power poles, blow transformers, pop fuses, etc., etc. It's a big deal. And think about this. So it's widespread damage, not localized damage. How many thousands, tens of thousands of transformers, power poles, hundreds of thousands of miles of primary and secondary transmission wire and distribution wire has to be brought in order to repair that infrastructure? And where does all that come from? And by the way, in the history of the United States electrical grid, we are at unprecedented low levels of inventory and backstock of wire, transformers, and poles. Yeah, so that's going to exacerbate the recovery as well, ain't it? Please remind us of the beanie on your head. I can't find it. No, you can't. You can't. This is a limited run that was done by this little company right here, Arfuge Medical, nephewsreticle.com. You might have heard of them. And we made 100 of them. They were not for sale because I don't want to sell anything that has Yah's name on it. I'm not going to monetize the creator of the universe. So they were first come, first served, given away to our awesome customers at Refuge Medical. So you can't buy it. They don't exist anymore. So TQ check left leg. Thank you, Bear, for showing me God's love and light. You're welcome, left-handed mistake. I guess we'll do a TQ check left leg, even though we're doing a brief. Oh, no, I don't have a turn. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, look, a cat Gen 7. But, Bear, how do you use a cat on an impinged limb? You open this up. You pull it out. Then you go around the limb. And then you slowly, because slow is smooth, smooth is fast, you put that back through the buckle. You pull it nice and tight like that. And you make sure it's a real cat so that it doesn't freaking break. And you turn it one turn past bad words in training. You turn it till the bleeding stops in real life. How's that? Can you see that? You're welcome. All right. Ah, that feels good. That feels good. All right. As the monster continued, Hurricane Helene, to form in the Gulf of Mexico, hurricane expert Michael Lowry wrote on X, only 4 named storms this century have been as large over the Gulf of Mexico, measured by the extent of tropical storm winds, as Helene is forecast to become by tomorrow. Irma in 2017, Ike in 2008, Ivan in 2004, and Isidore in 2002. Does anybody see some alliteration here? Irma, Ike, Ivan, Isidore. Bro, it's the Illuminati, because Illuminati starts with I as well. And Irma, Ike, Ivan, and Isidore all start with I. What does the I mean? Is that the 5 eyes? You know what 5 eyes means, right? You're aware of the 5 eyes, the intelligence apparatus of the United States of America, and they're the ones that are doing it. See, there's signals everywhere, man. The Satanists, they have to tell us what they're doing. Or maybe shut the foxtrot up with that bullshit. Or maybe that. It could also be that. Over the weekend, the storm is expected to churn its way inland across Florida, then hit Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and into Illinois and Indiana, grazing states like Mississippi, Arkansas, and Missouri. Not exactly localized. Not exactly localized. Repeat. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Missouri. The WYFF Whiskey Yankee Foxtrot Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice reported for residents further north in the states, quote, because it's moving so quickly and caught up in a jet stream right here, it's really going to be moving rapidly north with winds at over 80 miles per hour. That's insane, folks. This is not common for it to go in this fast and contain those winds that far inland. They're using space lasers to increase the wind speed and temperature, and maybe they are. Here's a question. If they are, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? We're going to rise up, Bear, and we're going to take the space lasers back. Okay, well, they have space lasers. You have an AR-15. And I'm not saying an AR-15 is ineffective. I love them. What are you going to do against space lasers when the reptilian overlords are like, yeah, you know what? Hey, they're being uppity over there. Shoot them with a space laser. Okay, cool. Along its massive path, it's expected to down trees, cause widespread power outages, and carry a possibility of tornadoes. Now, how do we get tornadoes? Or if you're from the breadbasket, tornadoes from a hurricane? Well, hurricanes contain warm, wet air. And when warm, wet air smashes into cool, dry air, you get tornadoes. Yeah, and it's a thing. This has happened on many an occasion throughout the history of the Estados Unidos. So be aware that Grindstone's fixing to be busy. And of course, it's, we're coming up on the fall feast season. Some people are already celebrating the fall feasts. I've got green goop falling out of my face. It's a perfect time for a historically massive hurricane and then follow on tornadoes. This is going to be great. It's going to be great. Who cares? Along its massive path, it's expected to down trees, cause widespread power outages, and carry a possibility of tornadoes. Tallahassee Mayor John Daly warned residents on Wednesday, quote, we will have countless downed trees. We will have structural damage. We will have loss of power. Yes, if our community remains central and Helene's path is forecasted, we will see unprecedented damage like nothing we have ever experienced before. Over 600 Thursday flights were preemptively canceled because of the storm, and all commercial and cargo operations out of Tampa International Airport were canceled. Supply chain interruption? Imagine that. Work, school, events, and activities are being canceled. My left leg's completely numb. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis warned. He didn't warn them. That's weird. Although we'll talk about warming in a minute. He warned them. Warned storm-weary Florida residents, quote, "Be prepared. You still have time. Remember, you hide from wind, but you run from water," end quote. Ron, that is some deep shit right there. Remember, everybody, you hide from the wind, but you run from the water. Ron, we don't run from shit. I'm going to punch that wave right in the face. Okay, Ron, grow a pair of balls. Come on. He also warned, quote, "Many people will lose power. Be prepared for that." One resident told WFTS, "If you're a godly person, pray, because I don't really need this. Neither do any of us." Another person reported on social media that the shelves were nearly cleaned out at her local Publix. That's a grocery store. Well, air quote groceries. If it comes in a cardboard box wrapped in cellophane, it's not actually food, by the way, but I digress. Anyway, this person wrote, "Lee County is already out of toilet paper and water," end quote. Other residents noted the long line for gasoline. It's clear that many people, even those used to living in hurricane-prone areas, waited to prepare until the last moments. The last moments. What shall we do? We have a lot of ground to cover in the brief this morning. We've got a couple other articles we're going to look at. I'm going to stand up again to make it clear. That's a good one. Look at that. What is that? What is that? Orange right there. You see that? Yeah, good and tight. Good and tight. Tourniquet on the leg. All right. It took my privacy fence down. Oh no, cat. What are we going to do, Caterpillar? Not the privacy fence. Quick, everybody deploy to Cat's house. We're putting fence back up. What's up, Matza? Refugemedical.com. Hypothermia kit, brand new in the store. Hypothermia kit. This is an APLS blanket, which is like a Mylar blanket combined with a nylon sill tarp, nylon impregnated sill tarp, combined with a ready heat blanket. You ever seen like hot hands? You know, those little hand warmer things? Imagine you had a hot hands that was the size of an adult torso, and you take it out of the package and you shake it and it activates. Then you lay that over your patient to actively mitigate hypothermia in a trauma setting or in a survival setting. Super good. Combine that with a wool blanket, also available on the site. Good to go. So hypothermia kits now in stock. Also at Refuge Medical, we have an entire tab of survival gear. So if you're a prepper, you know, you're like, I don't know, I might get my ass kicked by a hurricane here lately. Maybe I should have some things. There's a whole tab on Refuge Medical of survival gear. You can use the search bar and look for survival gear. And you know what you'll find there? You'll find the survival kits that are actually issued, current issue, to United States military for SEER shit and for downed pilots. Yeah, the exact same products that are actually issued to the United States military. Not some like good idea fairy prepper bullshit. I wrote a blog post one time and now I think I know everything. But the exact NSNs from the exact manufacturer for the United States military survival kits. So you could go check that out. That's at Refuge Medical. What else did we do? Oh, you work for a living. You're a tradesman, a tradeswoman. You work with your hands, plumber, electrician, carpenter, concrete layer, HVAC guy or girl, whatever you're into. And you're constantly fighting over DeWalt versus Milwaukee. No, Makita Bear. I'm old school. Whatever. Don't care. And you got one of those Milwaukee packouts stacked full of shit. You know what I'm talking about? You got so many of them. Now they're on wheels with a handle so you can roll them around on the job site and flex on all your buddies. Yeah, we just came out with a Milwaukee packout kit as well. Workplace kit. So go to the website, search bar workplace kit as well. It'll also, so it's a refill, right? So you provide the box. You can use your Milwaukee box, your DeWalt box, your rigid box. You can use a cardboard box. You put it in a trash bag for all I care. It doesn't matter. But it's instead of your standard bullshit OSHA compliant boo-boo kit, it's a Refuge Medical kit that'll do all your OSHA compliant stuff. It'll do all your boo-boo stuff, but it will also do massive bleeding, airway, and respiratory because that's 97% of trauma-related deaths. And yeah. So, and I'm also going to take this tourniquet off of my leg because I can. There we go. All right. Restage, everybody. Restage. So we got all that going on at refugemedical.com, plus the Bear Facts, the Bear Mins, the SOBs, the Op Facts, the plate carriers, the belt kits, the adventure kits, the stomp bags, the field medics, OSHA compliant kits, bleeding control kits, tourniquets, pressure bandages, gauze, all your things, plus a bunch of new classes in the store. A bunch of new classes in the store. Repeat, a bunch of new classes on the training tab in the store. So you want to do like baby TCCC with your kids, go to the Mommy and Me class. You want to come out for 2 days and try and shoot me with blue guns in a 4-on-4 situation? Awesome. Go to the 2-day class. You don't know your left from your right when it comes to trauma medicine, and you just need a basic level class. Come to either the Stop the Bleeding Prevention classes or to the Refuge 1-day class, the Essential Responder. It's all there on the tab at Refuge. Yeah, but do you guys really know what you're doing? I don't know. We've trained like 5,500 people here in the last 3 years. So yeah, I'd say we do. And a bunch of those people have gone on to intervene and save people's lives after coming to class. So yeah, I think it works. We've had, U.S. Army Special Forces and Naval Special Warfare mouth open agape, aghast at the quality of training being provided to civilians. Yeah, I'd say we probably know a thing or two, required class to come to a Refuge Level 1 class in order to participate in some other high-level trainings offered by certain instructors. So yeah, I think, we know a thing or two. RefugeMedical.com. Also, we're fixing to talk about interruptions to supply chain due to ports. I just tell you, insider baseball, supply chain's been weird for a couple of months. It's not going to get any better if they shut half of the country's ports down. So if you need some shit, today's the day to get some shit. Okay? Okay, man. All right, awesome. Let's move it right along. I'm still mad at Kyle that he wouldn't let me lick his face and get him sick too. I'm coming for you, Kyle. Next time I see you. It's lucky. You're lucky you're 9.5 foot tall, because I'm going to have to get some stilts in order to be able to lick your face. But it's coming. You're getting the sinusitis too. From Reuters.com. Reuters, internationally reputable, air quote news source. What we know about U.S. East Coast port labor dispute and products affected. And gosh dang, is this article just chock full of blah, blah, blah. This is one of those articles where, like, who wrote this pile of shit? Oh, it's just by Reuters. Whatever. Whoever wrote it was like, I need to get my 8,000 words in today. So let's hit the highlights. Some 45,000 union workers could walk off the job at seaports in the U.S. East and Gulf coasts on the 1st of October. Now, coincidentally, today's the 27th. The 1st of October is what, 4 days away? Okay, cool story, bro. Remember that giant ball of rain called a hurricane that we just talked about? Where's it forecasted to hit? Gulf Coast, and then move on up through the eastern seaboard. Do you think that that's going to maybe also negatively impact shipping? Do you think that's going to help the labor unions negotiate their pay raise so that they don't walk off the job on the 1st of October? By the way, do you think the unions would have to, not that I'm a union simp, but do you think that the unions would have to negotiate a pay raise if inflation wasn't as wildly out of control as it is under the Biden-Harris administration? No, they wouldn't. If we had real money, which homemade gummy bear is actually going up in value, not down, unlike our bullshit fiat currency, they wouldn't renegotiate. They'd be happy because every year that goes by, they're getting paid, X amount of dollars per hour, but the dollar becomes more and more valuable. Release leg. Yeah, Sam Off Grid. Go ahead. I guess you missed it. You could go ahead and release the leg. The strike could hit 36 ports that handle about one half of U.S. ocean imports. That could affect availability on a range of goods from bananas to clothing to cars shipped via container. These are mostly container ports and container products that we're concerned about. 6-year labor contract expires 30 September at midnight. So that's what, 3 days away. Ports covered by the contract handle $37.8 billion worth of vehicle imports during the last 12 months. Excuse me. Also handle shipments of machinery, fabricated steel, precision instruments coming in. Those three combined things account for $120 billion worth of product over the last 12 months. 14% of all U.S. waterborne agricultural exports. So that's stuff going out. Blah, 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 blah. Beef and pork will be affected. Don't eat the filthy swine. Read Leviticus 11. Poultry, eggs. The affected ports also handle more than 91% of containerized imports and 69% of containerized exports for the U.S. pharmaceutical industry. You on some meds? I would go ahead and get your scripts filled before the 1st of October. Bananas don't keep well long term. You know what, Texas Sheep Lady? You're correct. That's why I planted a banana tree in my backyard. It hasn't done anything because I live in Oklahoma, not the tropics, but I tried, right? My intent was pure. Yeah, and this friggin' article goes on and on and on. It just keeps going. But the point is, all these damn ports, 36 ports, 45,000 union workers going on strike. Now, you might notice a theme today in the brief. Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. So we got water coming in from the Gulf of Mexico because there's a giant storm full of water that's going to schwack the electricity, that's going to limit your ability to get water out of the tap. So you should have water, and on top of all your other preps, stored up for weeks, if not months. And then the water on the ports on the East Coast and the Gulf, they're going to shut down waterborne imports and exports. So you should have all the shit that you need that comes in over the water. The ships of Tarshish are going to cease for a hot minute. Ships of Tarshish. That's for the 1% of y'all that watch the Bible videos. I love y'all. The rest of y'all do better. And then from RT, RussiaToday.com, new Chinese nuclear submarine sank into the water. The incident involving the first of the Zhao class line of vessels reportedly occurred in Wuhan in late May or early June. Lots of good shit going on in Wuhan. I don't know who it is that's in charge of Wuhan, but I guarantee you that guy has probably been replaced 2 or 3 times since 2019 for no particular reason. The Chinese have a long and storied history of just disappearing people. Yummy. China's newest nuclear submarine sank while in dock several months ago, U.S. media outlets claimed on Thursday, citing sources. Well, at least sources were cited. That's good. Where did you get this information? Sources. Do those sources have a name? No. Can we verify any of them? No. But don't worry, we have plenty of sources that are all corroborating the same bit of information. Okay, well, let's track down those sources. You can't. They're just sources. This is what we call A1 reporting right here. Sources. Beijing has reportedly avoided making the incident public amid a major effort to expand its navy. Unnamed U.S. officials told the Wall Street Journal and CNN. Okay, why? Unnamed U.S. officials told the Wall Street Journal and CNN. Cool. Find those people, find a rope, find a tree, solve the problem. Barry, we have a right to know. We have a right to know. We don't have a right to violate operational security. That's the first thing. There's a whole bunch of paperwork that these assholes sign that say they're not allowed to violate operational security. And then also, you're telling me that the air quote media sources that are reporting this are journalistic. They're the fourth wing of the United States government. We have the judicial, we have the legislative, we have the executive, and then we've got the media. Yeah, well, they are part of the government now because they support all of the governmental bullshit and they toe party lines. Yummy. Do-do-do-do. Unnamed U.S. officials told the Wall Street Journal and CNN, hang 'em, that the incident took place at the shipyard near Wuhan in late May or early June. According to Reuters, satellite images from June. Where did you get these satellite images from? Okay. Appear to show cranes at the facility in the Wushang district where the submarine would have been docked, indicating a potential salvage operation. CNN described the vessel as an attack submarine, the first of the new Zhu class, which has a distinctive X-shaped stern that increases its maneuverability. Wall Street Journal said the submarine was completing its outfitting before leaving port when it went down. Now, let's everybody apply at least 3 layers of Reynolds wrap to your forehead. Okay, cool. Check this out. Let's say I was China. Let's say I had a book that was written by General Sun Tzu. It was called The Art of War. Maybe it was The Art of War that I had been reading for 1,000 years. Maybe I was reading The Art of War. And because I've been reading and living The Art of War for a millennia, I'm fully aware that all warfare is deception. And I'm China, and I know that there are sources that are paying attention to my every damn move. What would I do? Well, it's a submarine. It's designed to go under the water. Maybe I could make the submarine look like it sank and then move a couple of damn cranes out onto the pier and be like, okay, listen here, Jin Wang, you're in charge of recovery operations. Make it look like the submarine sank. Cool. And then all the apparatchiks in DC are like, sir, the submarine sank. We have good intel that says the submarine sank. Okay, well, it's a submarine. It's designed to go underneath the water. Well, how do we know that it sank? Sir, they've got cranes on the dock, and it looks like they're putting the cranes into the water. Okay. Does that mean the submarine sank? Or does it mean the submarine went underneath the water, which submarines are designed to do? Well, you don't know, Bear. That's not how submarines work. Okay. Submarines don't go underneath the water. Sub meaning below, marine meaning water. It's in their friggin' name. Exactly, Kyle. When weak appear strong. When strong appear weak. Exactly, Kyle M. Look in your face, bro. It's happening. I'm doing it. So I'm not saying it didn't. Oh, please say a recovery operation in a Chinese accent. David Kidd said in the chat. We engage in a very, very good, tremendous recovery operation. We bring a submarine from underwater back atop of water. A submarine that don't have a hole in it. There's no hole in the submarine. The submarine are fine. Fine, very good submarine. Best submarine. Make a happy face for you. You want to nuke a country? You get a submarine from China. Sometimes submarine come top of water, make a balloon go out a submarine, and then balloon go over Montana, make people very upset. They shoot balloon with rifle. But you cannot hit balloon with a rifle. You scramble F-35. F-35 shoot it down. But what you do is you pay for President of the United States. You give him all the money. Give President of the United States all the money, big money, best money. You give best money, President of the United States, and then he read a balloon will float across the top of country forever, for always. Balloon are always in the air. And then after we get all the data, we take the data, we shoot it back like an arrow from a balloon back at China, best country, bigger, better country. You take a data from balloon, you shoot it back at China, and then you shoot it down because you give big money president, and it's super good, the best good submarine balloon. All I'm saying is, if every single media outlet is reporting, oh no, Chinese submarine went below water, it might be worth analyzing. A, are submarines designed to go below water? Check. B, maybe is the submarine fine? And because all warfare is deception, they're just making it look like, well, what would be the net benefit to making it look like the submarine sank? Deception. One less thing, because now that submarine is out there operating off the radar. It's an unknown quantity, an unknown entity where South China Sea, where AUKUS is, Australia, United Kingdom, United States, which the whole idea there was to get Australia, more military basing for the US and Australia, and get Australia, I believe they were Virginia-class submarines from the United States. Okay, now we have a unaccounted for Chinese submarine in the South China Sea that all the data, which is from sources, is saying doesn't exist because it sank. Or, color me retarded, but submarines are designed to go underwater. I'm just saying. Oh, Graka 316, a special team of submarines. Surprise. You know, see no more. That's the best of submarine. Go underwater, but no die. No die. Not like that mini sub, the billionaire take her to the ground, underwater ground. I have a ratchet strap around it. Ratchet, you put a ratchet strap, it explode, a bigger boom under, what do they call that? A submersible? A submersible rubble. Submersible go boom. No good. Exactly, Raven 6. Yep, now it's off the radar. And everybody believes it because all the media reporting from sources said that the submarine went below water. No shit. That's what they do. But sir, they moved cranes onto the dock. Okay. That doesn't mean shit. So anyway, allegedly, the Zoo-class submarine done blowed up at the dock. And a senior defense official told CNN it was unclear whether the sub had nuclear fuel on board. A senior defense official told CNN, get the rope, boys. String them up. And see, here's the other thing. Okay, so these sources and these senior defense officials, they're only saying what they want to say. Like, all this shit's coordinated. You don't accidentally just... This is not some one more gay guy in the deep state who's trying to get in the pants of James O'Keefe on a hidden camera. This is not that. This is controlled release of information to perpetuate a narrative. Okay? Yummy. So, I'm not saying it didn't sink. I am saying I would not be surprised if it didn't sink, because this shit, it's like, it's just too neat and tidy. It's just too tidy. It's too tidy. Oh, well, how do we know it sank? Sources. Do those sources have a name? No. Okay, cool. Can we corroborate those sources? No. But the entire media is reporting it. Oh, okay. Like COVID. Like the entire media reported COVID. It turns out, oh, that shit was totally legit. You're right. Or the entire media is reporting Harris's polling numbers. Yeah, totally. I totally believe it. Oh, it's a very good information. Submarine totally go underneath the water. It's just fine. It exploded. It's no more submarine. No worker right here for submarine. We don't have a submarine. It's all gone. Everything is fine. We bring a crane to dock. We pull up a submarine pieces. Sir, they're pulling metal out of the water. They throw like some old metal in there. Be like, okay, under the cover of darkness, listen here, Shen Wao. I want you to throw some scrap metal over the edge and then pull it up with the crane. Okay. Bear sounds like William Hung. Oh, thank you, Cat. See, it's shit like that to get your privacy fence knocked over, Cat. That's what happens here. Oh, Dana, you don't reckon when I close my eyes or talking like this? All warfare is a deception. Bear Independent bonus intel. Intel at bearindependent.com. Intel at bearindependent.com. This is just one of those, like, fuck it, we already got 2 channel strike days anyway. Like, who cares? Who cares, right? You know what I mean, Matt? Like, who cares? Who cares? I'm sick. The baby's sick. We got 2 channel strikes already. Who cares? Who cares? They're going to cancel you, Bear. All right. Blue Collar President, alternate channel. What's up, Dana Freeman? I just caught the live on the best part. You're welcome. Oh, you're totally welcome, Dana. So many Dana are rubbing a briefer right now. In your 20 September brief, you brought up remdesivir being renamed something else. I once read an article about the side effects of this drug that are not widely discussed. It was noted that it sterilized multiple groups of male mice that it was tested on. I was given this drug while in a medically induced coma during COVID 2020. I speak from experience when I say it did just that to me. Stay the hell away from this drug treatment. Intel at barindependent.com. The following email was sent by one of the Elizabeth, New Jersey ports and forwarded to me by a relative who's a truck driver whose company services the New Jersey ports. Extended gate hours. Although we are hopeful for a positive outcome, we must prepare for a potential work stoppage on 1 October 24. As such, the terminals will extend gate hours until 9 p.m., blah, 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 blah. We strongly encourage you to use the extra hours to pick up your imports, especially reefer and hazardous cargo, so that it is not sitting on the terminal in the event that the work stoppage takes place. Please check our website daily for export and empty receiving, as there may be changes. Additionally, we also be extending the gate hours at the empty depot until 7 p.m. for the same time period. Thank you, management. Time to stock up on toilet paper and paper towels. What's up, brother Gas? Shalom, homie. I played a little, brother Gas. I played a little drama video that I made for the Patreon last night. I was at a drum set and I do a little warm up, and so I played on for Patreon last night on the pelt. But now you here, I think maybe 100-pound hell. Maybe you want to see. You guys want to see a real drummer video? Better play a real tiny drummer video. I look at the chat. A Paina Kira. That's right, a Krish. Oh, a hurrah, Bobby Guerrero. Oh, hurrah. Here comes the baby. You guys want to see this? Matza says yes. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if it's going to do what it does. You may not be able to hear it. I don't care. So that's my drums right there. That's a blast beat. Just a little warm up. Just a little warm up. You can't hear the kick drums. You need earphones. That's it. Just a little warm up. All right. Anyway. What are you doing, Bobby Guerrero? Oh, you sick of Chinese submarine? Oh, no, Daddy. I know sick of Chinese a submarine. I would never sick a submarine. Oh, Daddy, don't you know submarine means a global row of water? All right. Land and sea container shipping strike imminent. I received information from credible source indicating that a strike is coming, and it could be a long one. My source is a coworker of mine that has family members that work for the company. I also have a brother-in-law that works for a local port in our area. He's confirmed this as well. My understanding is that over 45,000 workers will be on strike, and they're demanding an 80% increase in pay over the next 4 to 5 years. 80%? Shit, I want an 80% increase in pay too. Me too. While we're at it, everybody else gets an 80%. 80%. Or check this out, y'all. If we had a sound monetary policy and we didn't have assholes, the political elites in the White House and trying to rule over the entire planet through fiat currency and lending at interest, we wouldn't need an 80% increase. Remember, before we got off the gold standard, minimum wage was $1.25 an hour. When quarters were made of silver, If you had the same amount of silver today, you'd have a minimum of $21 an hour, minimum wage right now. Minimum wage, 21 bucks an hour. Because money sounds like this. That's what money sounds like. Tell him, Squish. Give me my money, son. Yeah, exactly. 80% increase in pay? Shit, I want that too. You know what? I'm a dock worker too. I stand in solidarity with these dock workers who are totally not sinking submarines in China. Let's see. Shipping and supply chains could be greatly disrupted by a strike from longshoremen on the East Coast and Gulf Coast, causing shortages of a variety of products. I do not think tanker ships would be affected, but containerized items and auto products would not make it into the U.S. Yep. Get what you need while you need it. Tell them, Squish. RefugeMedical.com. Good job, kiddo. I work for a tire shop in Hope, Arkansas. By the way, this also is a contributing factor as to why we should have as much domestic manufacturing capability as possible. I'm not saying we'll ever be able to truly pull back from the brink of a globalized world, but the more shit we make here, the less this affects us. Simple as that. Simple as that. We've been on the American manufacturing bandwagon, if you want to call it that, on the cusp of trying to rebuild our little swath of American manufacturing for a couple of years. And I tell you, it's hard. Part of why it's hard is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Yeah, completed products and inventory are non-taxable, but all of your components, your COGS, cost of goods, everything, all sub-assemblies, all of that, all taxable. All of that. Raw goods, all taxable if held in inventory. Who's your favorite drummer? Well, that's really hard to answer. I mean, if you had to pick just one, I don't think that I could. But I'm a big fan of Trim from Emperor and the Commando, Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel, Nicholas Barker from Cradle of Filth, and especially his work with Dimmu Borgir. I like Nick Barker. We've hung out. Big fan of Nick Barker. Who else? George Coleus from Nile is an absolute animal. Absolute animal. I like George a lot. Who else? Oh, no. I mean, how can one not mention Hellhammer? Jan. Jan is his name in real life. Hellhammer is amazing. Incredible drummer. Hey, that's literally a choking hazard. Give me that. Look what the baby found on the floor. Hey, man, we're trying to do a show over here, okay? What are you doing? You don't chew on that? Okay, you chew on that. Where's your mom? What are you doing? Okay, I'm just hanging out with the baby, talking to 1,200 people. It's no big deal. It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever.
Missed you.
Yeah.
I hung out with her for like 8 hours last night.
Eric D says, I have not recognized a single band or drummer you've said, Bear. Eric D, try harder. Try harder. Actually, you know, a lot of those bands, I don't, it's kind of what Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 8 and 10 about like food slaughtered to idols. He's like, listen, I know there's only one Elohim, and it doesn't matter what kind of bullshit, you know, hocus pocus somebody tried to do over a piece of meat. It doesn't matter because none of that shit's real. And so that's what Paul's talking about in 1 Corinthians chapter 8. But then he's like, but if your little brother doesn't yet know that none of that bullshit is real, and then he sees you eating meat slaughtered to idols, and that causes him to stumble because he doesn't have the understanding that you have. He's like, it's better that I wouldn't eat meat at all than I cause my brother to stumble. And so that's what Paul's talking about, 1 Corinthians 8 and 10. For me, it's kind of the same thing with music. I know all of this, you know, all these bands that are like, oh, they got pentagrams on their album covers. It's all bullshit. There is one Elohim. That's it. That's it. Father Yahweh. That's it. Everything else is make-believe. Everything else is bullshit. But not everybody knows that. And so it's hard for me to even talk about or recommend a lot of the bands that I used to play with, used to listen to, used to tour with, because not everybody realizes that The bullshit that those bands are engaged in or were engaged in is exactly that, bullshit. I know it because I know who Elohim is, but not everybody does. And I don't want to get people off on, out into bad stuff over here. But, extreme metal. Extreme metal is what I do. It's what I've done for 23 years. My warm up on drums is most people's like wide open. It's all they got. And it's just a fact. It's just, I play Morbid Angel to warm up. And a lot of people play that, it's like that's their peak. One man's ceiling is another man's floor. When it comes to drums, I play really fast. I can play really fast, really long. I like it. So, anywho, I work for a tire shop in Hope, Arkansas. Every Tuesday night for the past 2 weeks, someone has been going into the South Fork truck stop at exit 63 on I-30 and stabbing semi-tires. Last week, they got 7 trucks and about 8 to 10 tires each. Last night, they hit close to 20 trucks and about 8 to 18 tires each. Also, according to some of the truckers and law enforcement, they've also been doing the same thing at a large amount of truck stops between Memphis and Dallas. In other words, 3-inch Magnum double-aught buckshot does wonders on soft targets. Completely unrelated. And if you're worried about over penetration or grand jury rounds, use like a number 5 shot, something like that, or a slug for a point target. Completely unrelated. I just watched a train with 10 dozen. That would be 120 if my math serves me. New military trucks rolled through town. About a third were equipped with trailers, all in forest green paint. Gosh, I love that color. As an update, it was posted on the scanner that the rearmost carriage of the train had become detached. I have yet to see confirmation that the vehicles on board had been recovered. Oh, I wonder if they accidentally became detached in an area that was, say, maybe overrun by imported military-age males from the southern border that have now been trained and equipped with U.S. taxpayer dollars, and now they have some brand new forest green trucks and trailers as well to roam the countryside with as part of a communist regime change in probably early January 2025 to weaponize those people against the citizens of the United States of America. Vaguely similar to what happened with what the administration called the air quote Afghan drawdown, where we left several $1 billion worth of equipment into the hands of our enemies. Interesting. That could never happen. That would never. Do you have homies? Are you training? Are you prepared? Are you ready to be set apart from the world? Why is this channel called Bear Independent? Because when the system fails, I want to be independent of the system, which is, when it fails, I don't want to fail with it. And I want you guys and girls to be as independent from the broken, fragile system as you can too. Bear's thinking is interesting. Thanks, Texas Sheep Lady. I just, sometimes you just got to see, one of the reasons they inundate us with all this information is to keep people from being able to pull back and get perspective. Sometimes you just got to pull back and just take like a global overview and look at it and go, well, all that shit doesn't add up. I wonder what they're actually doing. Yeah. I'm not a tactician. I'm not. Never have been, never will be. Doesn't mean I don't study tactics. Doesn't mean I don't train tactics, but it's not my bailiwick. I'm a strategist. I'm a big picture guy. I'm the CEO and president of 7 different things. Big picture, top stuff. I don't care how you do what it is that you need to do. As long as it's legal, moral, ethical, I don't care. Just get it done. I'm not going to get down into the weeds with you unless it's critical. Now, I'll come down here with you. We'll have a quick conversation, a little sidebar. All right. Listen here, Jimmy, I need you to X, Y, and Z. You got it? Yeah, boss, I got it. Okay, now you go do that. And then boom, I'm right back up here at the top again. I want to be looking down on the chessboard so I can see all the squares on that, so I can see all the pieces. I don't want to be one of the pieces on the chessboard where I don't have line of sight, where my vision is occluded, where I lose the ability to be objective as to what's happening. I like to be up here looking down at the problem, not be down here in the middle of the problem. Awesome, James. Praise God, I'm a Tennessee resident. I'm so happy to be here. Locals noticed my Bear Independence sticker, don't tread on me stickers, and say welcome. That's awesome, James. BearIndependent.com, swag if you need a sticker or something. Do 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 do. Boo 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 ba 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 da 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 da. Somebody 3D print a bear chest game. You got it, Badger. Bop bop bop. I arrived to work today on an airbase in Oakley Dokley to find 12 F-35 fighters sitting on the apron. 1 to 2 is normal every now and then, but I've never seen this many at one time. Do you even indicator, bro? I'm writing this as a B-52 bomber is preparing to take off. Oh, shit. I know which airbase you're at. Hi there. My family and I drove to Oak. This is the last of the national intel, and this is a really good one. So if you've been passively consuming, not been paying attention, you just, yeah, I got it. Bear saying blah, blah, blah. Maybe you're chasing your kids around the house, or you're at work right now grinding some shit up so you can put a nice bead of weld on it, or whatever you're into. Listen to this one. Well, crap. What did I get you, Fluster Cluck? Did I get you? Oh, crap. I was passively consuming. Got you, sister. Is that loogie number 7 in this brief? My family and I drove to Oak Island, North Carolina last Friday. You know where the Templar Gold is? For what was to be my mother-in-law's celebration of life. In light of the circumstances and the duration of the trip, 3 days total, I packed very light. On Saturday, that area experienced an unnamed tropical storm. It was raining so hard that driving home on Monday morning was impossible, and we had to extend our trip. On Monday evening, we began to hear reports of the historic county-wide flooding going on all around us. The unnamed storm had flooded the entire county in a matter of hours, some said as bad as Hurricane Florence. We learned that we were essentially stranded on the island as both of the major highways out were severely flooded and portions of the roadway had collapsed in at least 5 different areas. The smaller roads out were flooded and collapsed as well, and people were stranded all over the county in their homes and cars. Tuesday morning, the rain stopped, but the rivers crested, and my husband told me to go find supplies for at least a week. The first thing I did was fill our cars up with gasoline. Then I headed to one of the 3 grocery stores on the island. One was closed because the parking lot was flooded, and the other had closed its doors and was metering people in intervals. I filled my cart with all the basics, but was sad to see people buying junk food and alcohol, potted plants, and beach souvenirs. So many people had no sense of seriousness in the situation. I got more than one look when I put a 20-pound bag of rice in my cart. Good job. My daughter and I finally got home a day ago. The drive took 3 times longer than usual because of the extensive detours. I learned several things from the situation I would like to share. It may sound elementary to some on your channel, but I was shocked at how unprepared the people around me were. I'm grateful I filled up our tanks on Tuesday because as early as the next day, the gas stations were out and closed as there was flood water in their tanks. I'm grateful that I had my Bearfack and emergency. There's a big storm headed towards a large swath of the country right now. Top off your freaking fuel now while you can. Whoa, purple glare. Neat. You're welcome, Tactus Squirrel. I'm being irradiated by a space laser right now because I deigned to insult the Chinese Communist Party and their total renown of Spyro Road. Oh, Submarine Bagoba Road, Awada. That's what's happening. In fact, I can actually feel my internal temperature rising right now. My blood's going to start cooking off. My head's going to explode on camera. It's pretty cool. So what a way to go, right? You guys get to experience this with me. Stock up on gasoline now. There's a hurricane headed towards your face hole now. Go do the things you need to do now. Don't be part of the problem later. Dana, how do people not realize that gas runs out in a crisis? People be morons, sister. That's how. Don't be a moron with them. Handle your shit now. I'm grateful I filled up our tanks on Tuesday because as early as the next day, the gas stations were out and closed and there was flood water in their tanks. I'm grateful that I had my Bearfack and emergency surprise in the car, as well as a small car rice. Oh, yeah, you buy a 20-pound bag of rice. Oh, you part of our family? Are you one of these Chinese operatives? small rice car cooker, food heater, and a wand to heat water if we were to have been stranded in our car. I'm grateful that we listened to our local family that knew how the area floods and stayed back rather than try to push home. The most concerning thing I noticed was that I've read and watched so many times, but I've never seen in real life on this scale. Nobody is coming to save you. Repeat, nobody is coming to save you. The rest of the country and the state barely, if at all, knew what was going on at all. It wasn't in the national news, and there was zero government response sent to help. Also, the people around us were mostly beach tourists, very unprepared, and you could see they did not want to believe that they were in an emergency situation. They flocked to the restaurants and shops trying to salvage their vacation. If the island had been cut off for an additional week or longer, I can only imagine how they would have panicked. Anecdote from the annals of beardom. Diamond Crater State Park in Arkansas. My family was there one time. We were on a little family vacation. They got a couple of hotels in the area. It's a very us vacation. You go dig in the dirt, maybe find gemstones. It's cool. We like digging in the dirt. Okay. Can a Chinese say surprise, surprise? Surprise, surprise. So we go there, and there's a restaurant there. It's a good restaurant. And I hear things. I'm hearing things outside that are making me go, that's weird. So I go to the car. I get a radio. I turn the radio on to the local weather channel. Weather repeater. Yeah, there's tornadoes on the ground. And I'm listening to the location of these tornadoes and their direction of movement. And I have some basic area familiarity. I'm looking at a map in my brain of where the tornado is and where we are. And I'm in this restaurant. And I'm like, hey, you got to, I go and talk to the manager. I'm like, hey, you got to shut it down. We need to get out of here. Whatever you're doing, turn the gas off. Make sure you turn the gas off. We got to go. And they're like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And then the power starts to flicker. And I'm like, turn the fucking gas off now. Shut it down. Get cash from everybody in here. If not, I'll pay for everybody's dinner in here. We got to go. I don't care. We got to go. Shut it down. Get people out of this building. We can't stay here. And people are like, fork halfway to mouth agape, like, why is the guy with the beard acting crazy? Like, and nobody's doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. I shut the restaurant down. I was like, hey, pay up now. Finish your food. Susie, get some freaking styrofoam containers. Start packing up everybody's dinner. We are all going to be out of here in the next 3 minutes. Go, 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 go. Tim, line cook, turn off all the gas now. Lock the back door. Everybody's exiting through the front. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Cash, 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 cash. Get in your VIX. Get out of here. What happened? A freaking tornado hit the bottom of that town that night. Like 20 minutes later. Like 20 minutes later. People are sheep, dude. In the absence of leadership, lead. Do the freaking things. Okay? Okay. Yeah, it's the sun, says Chris W. It is the sun. Here comes the sun. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. That's a brief for today. Again, Grindstone Ministries is on standby. There's a giant storm fixing to impact the United States of America. If you want to participate in Grindstone's righteous shenanigans, go to grindstoneministries.com. Link is in the description. Sign up for the email blast. Exactly, Iridium Group. Be the light. Be the light. If you cannot deploy, consider supporting. Buy some Grindstone swag. Support all the good works that Grindstone does. It is storm season. It is upon us. We already have recon teams prepped to go out into the storm-damaged areas of Hurricane Helene. We already have follow-on personnel on standby, equipment ready to roll. We're Kyle and all the guys over at Grindstone are doing a good job. And so if you want to participate in those righteous shenanigans, grindstoneministries.com. Get on the email list because that's where the op word goes. It's not where we market to you or sell your contact information. That's how we communicate with you. Got it? I got it, Bear. Awesome. Caleb House. We got some cool stickers right now. Okay. If you want to help support Caleb House, you want to pave the roads, you want to pour the concrete, you want to build the house, or if you want to fuel the dozer, you can get these stickers. They're $50 a piece. No, the sticker doesn't cost $50. It costs $5, but the other 45 goes into our war chest so that we can build a restoration facility for juvenile human trafficking survivors, and so that we can make terrible shit happen to terrible people who serially rape children. CalebHouse.org, Caleb with a K. There's lots of people who talk about anti-trafficking. There's very few people who do counter-trafficking, and we do counter-trafficking, both rescue and restoration. And our caseload is absurd right now. It's absurd. You know why our caseload is absurd? Because nobody else does anything. They just make Instagram posts about raped kids bad. That's why. And so we're up to our eyeballs in bad guys and children to put back together again, which I will do forever and a day, whether I have a YouTube channel or not. The resources on this planet belong to Elohim, the creator of the universe, and I'm blessed that I work for him. And so we'll get everything we need when we need it in his perfect timing. But if you want to partner with us at Caleb House, you can find us at Caleb House. We got stickers, swag, t-shirts, hoodies, blah, 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 blah. And also, please consider recurring online giving for both Caleb House and Grindstone Ministries. And also, this coming, not this weekend, but the following at Self-Reliance Festival. Go to Self-Reliance Festival. I'll be there, and there will be a raffle to benefit Caleb House there with all kinds of products, including Refuge Medical products. And if you can't go to that, then go to Kentucky Sustainable Living's event in drumroll, please, freaking Kentucky, right, where they're going to have a Caleb House benefit dinner. Details at KentuckySustainableLiving.com. All right? Okay, cool, awesome. And huge shout out to the patrons, economic engine of the Bear Nation. We just did our Patreon exclusive live stream Thursday last night. We do that basically every Thursday evening. And for $10 a month or $100 a year, you get access to like 5,500 different pieces of content, including exclusive content that comes out every week that you never see on YouTube. Okay? Okay. You're welcome, Stephanie Allen. Thank you for blessing us with your drums. You're welcome. Glock 316 says Patreon is worth its weight in gold. I appreciate you, Glock. All right. Let's pray. Good morning, Father Yah. Father, be with everybody who's in the pathway of this storm that's coming. Steward them. Father, be indwelt in that situation. Get the good people out. Above all things, Father, let your will be done and make us strong enough to accept your will, whatever it might be. And Father, also empower us to be your hands and feet, to go into those chaotic situations and just love on people, to meet their every need, to teach them about you, to show them what love in action looks like, to provide a living witness as just to how awesome you are to these people who have lost everything. Father, Yah, please continue to bless the work of our hands, our businesses, and our ministries, that we might serve you better, teach more people about you. Father, be with all of us today, regardless of what we've got going on, whatever the world throws at us, that we would remember that you are sovereign over all things, and that we would be reminded that we are completely and utterly dependent upon you and your goodness, and that you are good, that we have everything we need and most of what we want. Father, steward us through this season of uncertainty and calamity and economic crisis. Be near to us. Keep us healthy mentally and physically and emotionally and spiritually, Father. Let no weapon formed against us prosper. Father, keep my people in the field safe. Bless the work of their hands. Father, bring to judgment those that deserve it, those that would harm the least of these. Father, let your will be done. Father, Yah, please continue to purge from us any unrighteousness. And if there's anything in the sound of my voice that's not of you, we come together in agreement and rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to destroy itself. Father, suit us up and put us on the battlefield of life for you. Pour out your spirit on us, that you would put us where you need us and give us your words. Let us keep our hand upon our sword. Balance that with wisdom and discernment from the Ruach HaKodesh. Father Yah, let us serve you in spirit and in truth, with torn hearts, not torn garments. Be with us as we go into this season of your fall feast, your appointed times, your Moedim. Continue to teach us how to walk in your footsteps in the model of Messiah. But thank you for covering us by the blood of the Lamb that we might come home again. Father, I pray that you just please be with these people today. Everybody within the sound of my voice, that you would make your face to shine upon them, that they would experience your shalom, your peace, and that you would protect them, provide for them, and bless them. In Yeshua's name, amen. Y'all have a beautiful and wonderful day. Oh, we're coming into the fall feast season. And so beginning next week, for a few weeks, you'll see me sporadically with no explanation given or needed. But I'll be around. JC Fixer, we love you back. I love all y'all. That is a cool image. Look at that. Thank you, Father, for the sun. It's amazing. Y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.